The birth of modern Africa, a 5,000-year journey. In this video, we explore the major milestones of modern Africa, which unfolded over 5,000 years from ancient civilizations till today. 1. Pharaohs, King Solomon, and the Queen of Sheba. From Egypt, the land of ancient luxury and mystery, where golden sunsets meet the Nile River. Africa's vibrant culture and natural wonders have always captivated the world's imagination. About 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, the pyramids of the Nile Valley showcased the ingenuity of their architects and builders. These represented the power and wealth of Egypt's pharaohs who built them as passage to the afterlife. Legends of Africa's treasures have persisted for millennia, drawing explorers, traders, and conquerors from far and wide. The biblical account of the Queen of Sheba's lavish gifts to King Solomon during her visit to Jerusalem in the 10th century BC has morphed into folklore about the fabled land of Ophir, inspiring European adventurers to venture into southern Africa in search of gold and riches 3,000 years after the said visit. 2. Ancient Romans in Africa, the coveted land. Ancient maps hint at a hidden treasure which was the very rich land of Africa. In the bygone era, the Romans, as they gained global dominance, relied on their colonies in North Africa for vital grain shipments to feed their growing Rome population. They named one of their coastal provinces, Africa, after a Berber tribe known as Ivory, who dwelled in the region of modern Tunisia. As the Roman Empire crumbled, Arab invaders arrived in the 7th century, supplanting indigenous chiefdoms across most of North Africa and adopting the Arabic name Ifriqiya to describe the same coastal region. 3rd, Mansa Musa fascinates the explorers. When European mariners explored the Atlantic coastline of Africa in the 15th century, they had a surprising reason. They were on a mission to find a sea route to the gold fields of West Africa, a treasure trove that fueled camel caravans across the Sahara Desert to reach Mediterranean ports. But what sparked their interest was Mansa Musa, the ruler of the Mali Empire, who made a lavish pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. On his pilgrim, Mansa Musa flooded and disrupted Cairo's money markets with gold for over a decade. European cartographers took note, even featuring Mansa Musa on the 1375 Catalan Atlas, thus intriguing the Europeans to find his source out. 4. Ancient chains of oppression, the forgotten era of slavery. In ancient times, before the European slave trade took off, a coveted commodity from Africa was slaves. Slavery was an entrenched institution in many African societies where captives of war were absorbed into the kingdoms of powerful leaders serving as laborers and soldiers. The Saharan slave trade, spanning over a millennium, entered a dreadful new era from the 9th century. African slaves were then marched across the desert, shipped over the Red Sea, and taken from the eastern coast, destined for markets in the Levant, Mesopotamia, Arabia, and Persia. Later, in the 17th century, Europeans inaugurated the transatlantic trade, bound for the Americas with untold devastations. 5. Ivory, Africa's greatest plunder. In the misty dawn of colonialism, Africa's ivory was the coveted treasure of the ancient world, principally in Asia, where India and China traded in its luxury. But as the Industrial Revolution unfolded, the European and American elite coveted ivory for its ornate piano keys, polished billiard balls, and intricate scientific instruments. Amidst this frenzy, the wicked King Leopold II of Belgium emerged to amass a fortune in ivory. He declared himself sovereign over the Congo Basin, casting a long shadow of darkness and sparking a scramble for African territories at the end of the 19th century, which unleashed a century of turmoil across Africa. 6. Europe's scramble for Africa. Forging artificial nations. By the end of the scramble, European powers merged 10,000 African polities or societies into just 40 colonies, creating artificial entities with boundaries that ignored monarchies, chiefdoms, and societies on the ground. The colonial powers threw together diverse groups with no common history, culture, language, or religion, creating latent hostilities. Yet, these colonies formed the basis for modern African states as we know it today.